Hello everyone and welcome to my Open Pandora tour. For those of you who don't know what Open Pandora is, it's basically a pocket-sized computer. It's the size of a DS, and here I'll just be recording the screen and showing you all the different things that you can do with it. And there's quite a lot. And yeah, it's pretty dang handy. I love this thing. I love it more than any of the consoles I have, and probably play this more than any console I have. Mainly, I don't really care too much for newer games, so that's probably why I spend more time with this. But let's get started, because if I waste time talking about all that type of stuff, I'll never get to actual applications in it, because it'll just take all day. Alright, so the first thing we're going to look at here is the computer speed. This thing is a 1 gigahertz model, or what they say, a 1.1 gigahertz model. You can overclock it if you want. I have it overclocked just so it can run the screen recorder and everything else at normal speed, and hopefully catch all the different frames that needs to catch. But to be honest, people overclock it all the time. I don't. I keep it at 600 megahertz because everything seems to run fine there, except for DS. I run 1000. You can even do a custom one if you want. You can overclock it with no fear, because as far as I know, there hasn't been a recorded time where the Pandora has just given up because of overclocking. It can give up over other things like overheating because it's being left out in the sun, or just something stupid, maybe dropping it. Well, you actually can drop it quite a few times, but I'm sure if you drop it just hard enough, it could probably cause something to fall out of place. But this thing can handle a lot. The outer shell is actually pretty rough, and mine has a crack in it. Unfortunately, I glued it back. It just looks bad to have the crack, but it's fine. It's been through a couple drops, but still nothing has changed in the performance. Other things you can have enabled to this thing is, well, first off, you can plug it into the TV, which feels kind of pointless, because I think the whole reason to have this is to go on the go, but however, it would be kind of lame not to have this. But yeah, it does have HDMI cable, mini HDMI cable that you can plug into here, and plug it into the TV. There is one good use for it if you want to play DS, and you don't want to look at both screens on just the Pandora. You could actually, excuse me, you can actually plug in the Pandora into the TV and have the touch screen on the Pandora and the top screen on the TV, which is pretty awesome. Enable Bluetooth, which is, well, I'm not too sure what type of Bluetooth things you can use nowadays. I don't really see a lot of Bluetooth these days, but it's there. Enable USB. When I first got this, I had a class, so I basically just picked it up, took it out of its box, ran to class, and had no idea how to enable USB. I was so new to this, I didn't know you had to enable it yourself. So I'd plug in my USB, try to put new apps, and nothing would happen. I was wondering what was going on, and it's because you have to enable it yourself. Another thing is, or the next thing is, you have the two dual SDs. I have a 32 gig and a 16 gig. So this does hold 2 SDs, which is super helpful. Mainly, you probably want to run everything through a USB, because not USB, SD, is because the USB will kind of stick out on the back side and get a little flimsy unless you have one of those really tiny USBs. But you could put a lot of space into this thing. Unfortunately, the unit itself only comes with 512 megabytes, but SD cards are pretty cheap, and everything you run on it doesn't take up a lot of space, so if you just want to run it like I do and put emulators, that's great. Enable Wi-Fi. Normally keep it off because I don't really like using the internet on this thing. It doesn't really run internet all that great, but I'm sure when this model first came out back in 2009, I'm sure it ran great, because there wasn't as many HD images to upload, and YouTube probably was barely getting into the HD scene, so it probably ran great. But anyway, I think I forgot to mention, one thing this thing is mainly built for is for emulators, which is nice. It's built for many other things like programming. I think it's more of a programming tool, since it has so many programming utilities that you can download. But it basically runs like a Linux desktop computer. As you can see, you got your start button right here, or whatever they call it. I guess in this case, it's the Pandora button, and you got all your basic menus that you have in a normal computer. But it's basically built to run any type of game. Well, any game, PlayStation, and then there's PlayStation. But it even runs DS just fine, which is great. In fact, I don't know many things that do run DS except for DS. Well, and a computer, I suppose. But it runs them all fine, and that's awesome. It even has PSP, but it doesn't run too great. But other than that, all the other emulators and stuff runs great. Oh, another cool thing is it has Android. I downloaded it, and I don't really know what to do with it. I just bought a couple games, but the games run kind of crap. I'm not sure if it's the Pandora, if it's Android itself, but yeah, the games are don't run that great. So, don't use it too often. I've even put up the speed, and I don't know. Anyway, so we got a Game Advance right here on the desktop. We got our Firefox again. Looks great. Looks just like Firefox, but I don't know. I don't really like running internet on it too much. You can download things straight into your SDs, which is kind of nice, but still I prefer to do it on my computer. Just transfer it by SD. You know what? I've never used this Game Boy Emulator. I'm not even sure why. I think I got it because you can link and stuff. You can link up with other people. You do it wirelessly, so that's kind of cool. Nintendo, PlayStation, Super Nintendo, and this thing is just a different graphical user interface, which basically allows you to see a list of all your games and just select whatever game you want instead of having to go through all the different emulators. You have them all combined here. It just runs the emulator through this program, the Panda FE, whatever that is. Now let's go into here where there's a lot more stuff to do. I have a lot downloaded onto my SD cards, and I still have a lot of space left. Android up here, you can, with this, Blanc rename. Oh, I guess you can just rename a bunch of files. Change speed, which you can basically do that little shortcut at the bottom. Create Pandora SD card. Don't really need to do this, but if you want to name the SD card and make sure that it's readable by the Pandora, you want to do this when you first plug in your SD. Whoops, go back. Install Java, it's already installed. Another graphical user interface that I put in. P&D Manager, that's where you can download all your different applications and utilities. P&D Store, which is basically the same thing as Manager, but the Manager is far greater to use. Input Tester, this is kind of cool. Let's go run it real quick. Okay, so here you can just make sure all the buttons are working. Make sure everything's going fine. Push on the button. One interesting thing to see is the Pandora itself only has an R and L button. However, you can put in your own R2 and L2 buttons. I have not, because I don't know where to find any, that's interesting. I don't know why that's happening. But there's L2 and R2 buttons you can put in yourself. I have not. I don't want to risk breaking anything. Alright, so let's keep on going with things. Oh, system info. Let's go check out that real quick. Pretty cool thing. These are all the boring things, but still pretty awesome to look at. This tells you basically all your information that you hear about your battery. How long it has to last, how much it has to charge, and how many times you charged it. According to this, I've done 71 complete cycles. Right now I have 24% left and an hour and 39 minutes left. Normally it would be higher, but it's probably because I'm running at a higher speed right now. Normally I run at just 600 megahertz just comfortably, but in this case, since I'm running at a higher speed, it's going to drain much quicker. The battery itself lasts, just playing games and everything, at 600 megahertz like I do, over 20 hours. You can play it all day and it'll probably still be running. From what I hear, according to this, I guess at the bottom of the corner, if you run it at full speed, I'm a little higher than full speed, it runs 10 hours, which is great. So battery, you have nothing to really worry about. You can charge it for the day and probably last you all week depending on how often you play it. For me, I probably charge it once a week depending on how often I play it. Here it tells you basically everything that's running your memory. Awesome utility to use, and definitely get it. Other basic stuff like this Timothy thing basically installs audio files and audio libraries. Other stuff you can already do. This is a little bit like a PC. This thing here is like a Windows, I guess, executable runner. Got Office stuff like PhD, or does that PHP? Not PhD. PHP, basically your LibreOffice is basically like running Microsoft Office, but Linux version. I guess it's a calendar. I don't really use it. Task Unifier, I guess, look at the tasks, network stuff. Don't even look through that. Here you can record yourself. Screen recorder that I'm using right now. Mixer, I'm guessing, just mess with the volume. This allows you to run YouTube. I don't remember if I used it, but I'm pretty sure fairly well than the actual Firefox. So probably get that instead of running it through Firefox. Screen recorder, that's what I'm using right now. Graphics, Well, not too sure what, oh, this is the PHP runner. I'm sure that's to make probably images and stuff like that. Haven't ran it. Don't really play the games, just download them, just have them, but don't really play them. I play Cave Story, Rick Dangerous I do play. Pretty awesome stuff. Other games run great. And here are some emulators. A lot, actually. I don't remember what they all do. I know this one is Game Gear, this one's DS. I want to run it, but last time I tried running it, it just crashed on me while recording. I think too much was going on. Nintendo 64 runs most games okay. Not all games, though, like games that I guess expect more power. For instance, you know what? I tried Majora's Mask, and it actually does run fine. I don't know why people are saying it doesn't run fine. It runs okay for me. Maybe a little slow down at times, but it's acceptable. PSP, all the games I have don't really run all that great. Here's a Dreamcast one I have not ran. I never had a Dreamcast, so I don't really know what games to put on it at the moment. So at some point I probably will. Other things, I don't know what these are. Here's a UAE thing for all. I'm not too sure what that is, but I do have games for it. ZX Spectrum, Pandora, or not Pandora, sorry, Android Runner, Game Boy Advance. I have 2 Game Boy Advance emulators, mainly because some games run perfect on here, but however other games do not on the GPSP, which is I think Game Boy Advance Kai, I suppose it's called. However, on this other Game Boy Advance one, though it's not that great, it does run some games better if you run it at full speed, I mean. Which is kind of nice. So up here, Fuse is, I think, is another ZX Spectrum. Another situation with this one, some games run fine on here, some games run better on the other ZX Pandy one. Got a Super Nintendo. Saturn, I don't know if I've tried that. I think I have, and it doesn't run too great. Got Sega. MAME. Finally figured out how to work that. It's a pain to get games to work on it, but yeah, that runs just fine. Runs perfectly. Actually, no problems at all. Got my Wonder Swan here. I just got it just to play Mega Man and bass. Flash, play some Flash games, which is pretty awesome. Just gotta get the Flash, I guess, I forgot how to do it. I think you just gotta save it through the Firefox, and then you just run it through here, and it runs just fine, which is awesome. And that's about it with the emulators. Documentation, basically read some manuals about some of the emulators if you have questions. Development, got my C++ stuff and whatever else. A bunch of different language libraries and compilers here. I don't remember the difference between them all, but there they all are. Got some accessories if you just want to run like mouse pads, basically like notepad, calculator, basic stuff. And that's it for the Pandora for right now. If you have any questions of anything you want me to run and just show you, I definitely will. In a different video I show Game Boy Color, but the frame rate's really slow because I'm still messing with the on-screen recorder. In this video I'm not sure how great it'll look because of how long the video is, but if I do just record just a straight game, like Game Boy Color again, it actually runs great. It runs fine. It's not much of any slowing down or stuttering. But anyway, that's my quick tour of Open Pandora. There's still so much more to go through. I mean, like, got volume controls, not too big of a deal. You got your brightness right here, and you can completely change the look of it. For instance, this whole menu, status menu thing right here, I've shrunk a little bit because it's really big when you first get the Pandora, and I don't really want to take up too much space. Another thing is the icons are gigantic when you first get this. I shrunk them to a normal size. So basically I want it to look like a basic desktop computer, just shrunk, like a shrunken version of a desktop computer, because on desktops, icons aren't humongous, unless you make them big, but I like them kind of small. Still, quite a bit I can still run, like the emulators, but if there's anything you want me to show you and look at, for instance, like the media players, the recording and stuff, how good's the mic, because it does have a mic, just let me know. And that's it for at least the on-screen version of my review. Maybe at some point I do like an actual model review where I'll show you the actual component and how it looks like. But other than that, thank you for watching, and I hope to hear from you guys soon. And, well, have a good one.